This tripod's being difficult. It's not that hard to be taller than me. Hello there, my name is Kat, and today I'm going to reminisce on my Warped Tour memories. R.I.P. Warped Tour. It is obviously a crazy time right now, and I missed a lot of concerts and events that I was looking forward to, and I don't know when my next concert is going to be, so I'm gonna just pretend I'm at Warped Tour. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, this does look exactly like the kind of person who would miss Warped Tour, and for that I would like to apologize. I wanted to dress up. I didn't realize that I would look like this. Every former emo kid either turns into a hipster, a hippie, a e-girl, e-boy, or is on crack. I don't know. So I started being an emo kid in 2012. I started listening to bands such as, but not limited to, Pierce the Veil, Bring Me the Horizon, Never Shout Never. Never Shout Never was my favorite band. I lived and breathed Christopher Drew. And then when I was 15 in 2013, Jesus Christ, I found out about this workshop where I could meet this man for $40. I had some money saved up, I think in like savings bonds or something, and I begged my mom and she bought me the tickets. And then I found out you had to have a Warped Tour ticket to go to this workshop. So after an emotional breakdown, my mom, the true MVP, came through and bought me, my friend Lucia, and her Warped Tour tickets. And Lucia was gonna come with me to meet Christopher Drew. So that year was my first year. It was me, Lucia, and my mom. And for some reason, upon being in his presence, I did not cry. But when I saw Never Shout's set later on, I cried like a baby when they said some basic, like, believe in yourself shit. And I was like, so we get there late, we're really confused, we find the band Happy Tent, they take me and Lucia to, like, where the buses are. I felt really exclusive, and I met Christopher Drew. I'm gonna do a whole other story time about all the famous people I've met and, like, how they were and stuff, so look forward for that. But Christopher Drew was really sweet, and I have this. We somehow get lost, like, back by the tour buses, and we end up back in Warped Tour, and just in time to catch, like, the last 75% of Bring Me the Horizon. I was 15. I had no idea what was going on. We stood in, like, the little, like, balcony sections, because it was a big amphitheater where their set was. If I were who I am today, in that moment, and had the opportunity to see Bring Me the Horizon play all their good shit, I would have lost my mind at that show, but I was not. I was awkward 15-year-old Kaitlyn, and I stood from afar as I admired one of my favorite bands of all time, to never see them again. The next year, in 2014, I went with Lucia and another friend, and that was the first time I saw and heard of Watsky. And I fell in love, and I've been in love with him since that moment that I saw him on stage in 2014. 2014 was also the year that I specifically went to Warped Tour to meet motherfucking D-Fizzy. Again, making a whole nother video about famous people I've met, blah, blah, blah. But he was really sweet. I got a t-shirt, I cried, here's a picture. And as I was waiting to meet Damon Fizzy on the scorching hot lawn of Riverbend, my ex was enjoying the only band I wanted to see at Warped Tour that year, Breathe Carolina. So I cried as I heard Breathe Carolina in the distance, but couldn't see them. I'm pissed because I don't think they went any other year except that year, so that was my only chance, and I'm not going to see, like, one of their own specific shows, because I don't like them that much, but I really wanted to vibe. I don't remember much from 2015 or 2016, I must have been on crack or something, but 2015 was the year that Pierce the Veil played, the only year of the time that I went that Pierce the Veil was there. And also, Tony, the bass player, wasn't even there because he got in a motorcycle accident, I think, that year. So it was three of my four boys. I loved Pierce the Veil so much. I was such a fangirl. So if you don't know how Warped Tour works, sometimes they have two sides of a stage taken up, so one band plays on one side while another band is getting ready on the other side for their set, so they could just switch over really quick between their sets. So Metro Station, I believe, was playing on one side, and the other side was about to be Pierce the Veil. So me and Lucia got our asses as far up on that side as we could, which was pretty close, considering there were a lot of people waiting to see them boys. And boy, that was a time. It was so hot that year. So hot. I think there were like 2 times while we were waiting where I felt sick, like I was about to pass out, but I stuck with it because I needed to hear that sweet, sweet Mexicore. So they get on stage, and I'm so emotional because they're real. I know probably everybody knows that feeling when you see a band that you love or an artist that you love up on the stage and with your own eyeballs, and they're real, and it's real, and they're whoa. So we're vibing. It's great. I love it. And then I think when they were on their like second to last song, me and Lucia just started feeling whack. Lucia lost her vision, so I just remember her looking at me and saying, "You are a white blob," and I said, we need to get out of here. So I grabbed her hand and led her out, and we sat under a tent, and they played the last song, which I can't even remember what it was, but as long as I heard them, it was okay. I still have this confetti from their show, because I have a hard time letting go of things. So 2013 through 2016, I went to Riverbend, which is in Cincinnati, because I'm near the Dayton area, so Cincinnati was the closest. And 2017 was the first year I got out of my comfort zone, and I went to Cuyahoga Falls. If you've never been there, it is weird. It's outside of Cleveland, but it's like in the forest. It's a really cool venue, but it was a trek. I think it was 4 hours. I stopped an hour on the way to get my friends, and then like an hour before I got there to get their friend. It was a big group. It was a great time. So I chose this specific Warped Tour date because Watsky was not playing in Cincinnati. He was playing at the Cuyahoga show. So I used my manifestation techniques, and I didn't know how, but I was going to meet Watsky that day. I knew that deep in my heart. This was also the first year that I encountered the monks. I don't know how I never met the monks before, but I was in a really, that was my peak spirituality in 2017, so I thrived on it, and they came up to my car, they complimented my nose ring and my tattoos, and I bought books from them because they were very nice to me. I hope in a next life that I can be a monk at Warped Tour. So at some point, I believe, on our way there, my friend Andy informed me, "Hey, Kat, I got us a brownie." If you've watched my Why I Stopped Smoking Pot video, you will know that I am very sensitive to substances. We're walking up to the venue, and I realized that I forgot my brownie. I feel like that was a part of my subconscious mind telling me not to eat the entire half of my half of the brownie. So Andy has hers, and she says she'll give me a half of her half. And I tell her, no, I'll take a half of your half of your half. You know? So I ate an eighth. I ate an eighth of a pot brownie. And that's not when shit got real. It took an hour. So we finally get into Warped Tour. I think none of the bands we wanted to see were playing yet. We were kind of just vibing, walking around and stuff. We were trying to find Dakota Wint's tent. He's one of my favorite spirituality YouTubers. He owns a t-shirt company and goes on Warped Tour with that. And we couldn't find him. He wasn't there yet. So then I get to the amphitheater because I was going to wait on Watsky and get the best spot to watch him in all of his glory. And my friends went to go see Neck Deep, I believe. And I was like, I would have went with them, but I gotta be here for my boy, you know? So I'm sitting in the amphitheater, and they walk away. And about 2 minutes after they walk away, I'm like, fuck, why do I feel high? And that, my friends, is when the brownie kicked in. What a convenient time when I'm alone. So I'm waiting on Watsky. I go to the bathroom like 4 times because I needed to do something. And then I started getting really scared. I was convinced that somebody was trying to sex traffic me at Warped Tour. Don't know why that would be a place where that would happen. But my mom always scares me and sends me things about sex trafficking, so I guess that was on my pot brownie mind at the time. So I get to the point where I'm like, fuck, I need to talk to somebody, I need to do something. I think I was texting Andy and like I couldn't even process what my phone was. And so I go to Dakota Went's tent to try to find him, or I'm walking to it, and I'm like, they're gonna help me. They're hippies. They're gonna get me through this. And I didn't even get to his tent, and the high did a 180, and I felt so fucking good. So I was like, let's go see Watsky. Just me, myself, and I. Let's go see Watsky. So I shuffle my ass back to go see Watsky. I get in that crowd as far as I can go. He comes out, he plays an amazing set. I loved it. And then I went and found my friends. It was great, and I was still high, and we went to go meet Dakota. Again, gonna talk about this in the famous people I met video. I was still high, and we were all confused. So here's a picture. So I think we go and see some other sets. I literally don't remember anything. And then we go for our last round of merch, the sad walk of shame. We've already seen seen everybody we wanted to see, done everything we wanted to do. And I wasn't even thinking about Watsky at that point. I was okay. I was okay that I had seen him, and I was okay. That was enough. It was enough that I had just been in his presence. And that is exactly how the law of attraction works, ladies and gentlemen, because as we were walking, something came over me. A sensation. And I just felt something. So I turned to Andy and I smack her. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I look up, and there's Watsky talking to somebody else. And I'm like, and she's like, so he starts to walk away from the person that he's talking to, and I just hug him. I tell him a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about that in another video, get it in more detail. I met him, and it was so good, and he was so nice, and I love Watsky with all of my soul. And then there was 2018, the last Warped Tour. We went into it the same way we came in, me and the MVP, Lucia, and it was probably my best Warped Tour, even though it wasn't much. I finally got to mosh, and I crowd surfed, and I did all kinds of shit. I got to see Crown the Empire, which I had seen like every Warped Tour, so it wasn't anything special, but I got to mosh for the first time to them for a few minutes. It was a lot of fun though, and I loved it. And I met Crown the Empire, which I also did in 2016, I think. But this time I got like weird, and I think I made Andy Leo uncomfortable as fuck, and I'm so fucking sorry. Again, we'll talk about that in another video. I met Dakota Went again that year, and he was super nice, and I told him that I had reached 1,000 subscribers, and he gave me advice. It was really sweet. I saw Simple Plan, which is one of my favorite old school emo bands that I loved since I was like a preteen. So that was really important to me. I caught a Simple Plan beach ball and walked around for about an hour at Warped Tour, making Lucia help me push the air out of it so that I could like fold it up and put it in my backpack. I don't even know where it is now. And I'm sorry that we went through all of that trouble and I don't even have a beach ball to show for it. And my goal was to crowd surf to Simple Plan. I wanted to crowd surf to I'm Just a Kid, but I missed it because I'm a weenie. So, last chance, We the Kings was playing, so I crowd surfed to Check Yes Juliet, and here's a short, awkward clip because it was a short, awkward crowd surf. And then it was all over. And I'm I'm getting emotional because I loved Warped Tour so much. I know it was just like an angsty teen emo music festival, but it was so much more than that to me. I didn't really have vacations as a teenager in my family, so Warped Tour was kind of my big thing that I got to look forward to in the summertime. Warped Tour was my vacation, it was my therapy, it was so much. Every time I went, I had fun and I met people and I got to see bands and artists that I looked up to so much, and it really inspired me to know that, like, you have to start somewhere to be able to make it. And not to be cheesy, but the thing that made me cry when I saw Never Shout the first year in 2013, when Chris said, "You can do anything," that really is what Warped Tour taught me. Please leave your comments down below and tell me your Warped Tour experiences, because we all did crazy shit. If you're not subscribed already, fucking do it, please. So many of my views are from people who aren't subscribed, so just stick around, just stay. Just like, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart, even though I don't know you, but you watch my creativity, and I appreciate that. And I will see you in my next video.